When people think about data leaks, they're usually thinking really cloak and dagger kind of things. They're thinking about the NSA spying on them. They're thinking of an employee who's not had a good time and is feeling a bit malicious. He's maybe sneaking a bit of data outside the organization, maybe selling it on to a competitor. It's that sort of thing people think about. But the reality is that's really far from the truth. Usually, data leaks occur as something really small. It's a little bit of a mistake that someone innocently does, and information accidentally gets outside of your organization. One of the biggest problems and the largest vectors for information to make its way out of an organization is simply email. So email is something that everybody uses, and people use it all the time, and it's great for sharing information. Unfortunately, it's sometimes too easy to share information with your emails. And a lot of the time it's something simple. So it might be something as simple as you're sending some information to a colleague, you start typing their name, it gets filled in for you, and you hit send, and you suddenly realize that actually it was someone with a very similar or even identical name at a different organization. The problem is once that email's gone and it's outside your organization, you've lost control, you can't get it back. Another common example that we see fairly often is someone might get an email which has been around a few different people, and it might be 10 emails long at this point with various replies, and they just read the last couple and think that's really interesting. Actually, I know someone that could really benefit, and they forward it on. And unfortunately, if they haven't read back through the whole trail, they may not realize that maybe it started off as a bit of office banter or something that isn't necessarily wrong for the original context, but the intended audience is not who you've just sent it to, and it might be misconstrued. So although these slip-ups can seem quite small, unfortunately, the impact can be quite large. If that information gets out into the public domain, that can damage your reputation as an organization. It can cause you to lose contracts, and if the information was private and confidential, you could face an immediate financial penalty as a result of it. The first step for a business when they want to try and mitigate this sort of activity is communication. So having a good, clear communication with your employees so they understand how they should appropriately use their emails. If you've got something like a corporate communication policy, then that's great. If you don't, please get one, and then make sure it's communicated well. You can't blame people for not adhering to policy if they don't understand the policy. There are a number of technologies and different systems out there which can help you with this problem and prevent information being accidentally sent out to an unintended recipient. The good news is that a lot of these technologies are actually built into the systems we use every day. If, for example, you use a fairly recent Microsoft-based infrastructure, you'll find these technologies are baked into Windows. They're baked into Microsoft Office, and they're baked into your Exchange server. Now, obviously, having the technologies and understanding how to apply them correctly are two different things. The most appropriate way of tackling this may well be to get a trusted partner organization in to help you, and they can advise you on ways to leverage these technologies to best effect. So just as an example, if you're sending out emails which have financial information in them, that financial information might have to go through an approval process, and your partner may help you with a way of identifying information in these emails automatically, so that if an email is sent out with financial details in it, it is automatically paused, an approval request sent to your commercials team, and it only gets through once your commercial team give the green light. Another problem and solution example could be quite a common one. If you're sat using your computer working away and suddenly something goes wrong, quite often you'll just pick up the phone and ask technical support for a bit of help. And a lot of the time what they'll say is, take a screenshot of the error message and send it to us. Now, if you happen to be working on something confidential and you've got that open on your screen, you hit print screen, you send that away, oops, you've accidentally sent them some confidential information. Now, using the technologies we've been sort of alluding to, you can set it up so that when you actually take a screenshot, your computer can recognize that there's confidential information in that document, and it can blank it out from the screenshot, which saves you from the hassle of having to remember what you've got open or accidentally letting information go in that way. An important thing to keep in mind when implementing such technologies is that the goal is to help your employees. You're not trying to control or constrain them, because if you get a little bit overzealous with these technologies, you can end up with your people fighting your systems, and then nobody wins. And bear in mind that these technologies aren't going to solve all of your security problems. They're aimed at helping your employees to prevent accidental slip-ups. They're not going to save you from someone who's determined to steal information. In the previous example, You can prevent a screenshot from accidentally capturing some confidential information, but you can't stop me pointing my phone at your monitor and taking a picture or writing it down on a piece of paper. The final point I'd like to be clear about is that the technology, whilst it may be wonderful, is useless by itself. Unless you understand the information in your organization, you're not going to get any benefit. So the first step to this is always to sit down with a cross-section of your business and understand the types of information you've got and the most appropriate ways of handling each of them.